Ahoy cruise enthusiasts, Embarkation Day can really set the mood for the entire cruise. If things go smoothly, you know what, you're going to have a fantastic sailing. But if things don't go well, it really puts me in a bad mood. Let me tell you something about that. Mostly because at this point, there's no excuse for some of the, silliness that happened. So I'm going to rank all of the embarkation experiences that I've had, or I'm going to rank the cruise lines based on the embarkation experiences that I've had, tell you a little bit about them. We're going to try and get through this quickly so you kind of know what to expect. Now, the advice, of course, is do everything you can up front. All the check-in, everything. Download the app, make sure everything's fine. Take the picture, whatever they ask for. Take a picture of your passport, all of this stuff. If you are able to get on some little device, like with Virgin and Princess, make sure you get that ahead of time, even if you have to pay for it. All of these things make the embarkation process way smoother when the cruise line has their act together. So absolutely, do everything you can up front. And I'm going to say this, I will not follow this advice, but maybe even bring paper. I know, printed boarding pass. I still will not, because it's 2026 and the need for paper should be well in the past, but you know what? If you wanted to make it the extra step to possibly make things a little bit smoother, you might want to bring a printed boarding pass. Like I said, I will not, and when I don't, and if they expect it, I'm still going to complain about it, but I'm just telling you, if you want to avoid that drama, print a boarding pass. So, the 15 or 16 cruise lines that I have sailed based on the overall embarkation experience. Okay, so number one, and we're going in alphabetical order, so hopefully this is like a grand reveal. This is the first tier ranking I've done, so I know. Let me know if you like it. Maybe we'll do more. Oh, and yet, good thing I reminded myself. Head down there and hit the subscribe button and the like button. Don't bother with the bell. I don't do it for anyone, so I'm not going to ask you to do that for me. All right, here we go. Well, first one, Carnival Cruise Line. All right, this is a tremendous example of what are they doing? This should not be this bad. I have only had one relatively decent check-in experience with Carnival, and I think it was Carnival Celebration. Every other check-in experience with Carnival has been an absolute disaster. I'm sorry, relative to everybody else, there's no need for it. Carnival, you really need to do better. Especially since other Carnival brands, Carnival Corporation brands, are doing a lot better. So yeah, this is one case where you do need to bring something printed, because otherwise you have to get that stupid little paper, and there's always lines. And there's always lines, and they're slow. Why? No, this doesn't make any sense. So D tier, Carnival. Sorry. All right, next, Celestial Cruises. Yes, one of mine. I'm sure one of your upcoming favorites when you decide to sail with them. Oh, right. Great job, guys, getting back into the Mediterranean. So we do look forward to a full and complete Mediterranean season. All right, Celestial. It is normal. That's it. It's just a regular check-in process. Everything just works. There was a line, but it moved. They had, lemon or cucumber water, which was nice. There was plenty of staff, but it was a line, and it just kind of moved at a normal pace. So it was just a regular, no-nonsense check-in process. C tier. Next up is Celebrity Cruises. All right, yes, finally, somebody worth noting. They are part of the Royal Caribbean group, so they benefit from a lot of the investment that Royal Caribbean does, corporate-wide. And I have only sailed on Celebrity twice, with Celebrity Silhouette, then Celebrity Apex, and it was very much a Royal Caribbean check-in experience because it's literally the same app. I don't really remember Celebrity Silhouette, which is good, but Celebrity Apex at their terminal up in Fort Lauderdale, you know what? It was like Royal Caribbean. I just kind of breezed right through, no problem. So, yes, because of the investment that Royal Caribbean has made, they are definitely winning S tier. Okay. Costa Cruises. You haven't seen this yet. It was bad. It was horrible. It was terrible. You know what? I don't want to spoil it. D tier. Next up, Crystal Cruises. Okay, so the first of the two luxury brands on here, and I actually created a special category for them because they do things a little bit differently, mostly because they very often do not have a dedicated terminal, and they just kind of have to work with what they have, and that really is what happened with Crystal down in Barbados. They do go there frequently, but not enough to have their own facilities. So the only weird part was the little bus ride, which honestly was kind of not necessary. I would have walked. But once you get there, the embarkation process was relatively smooth. They take you into the ship. It's right there in the atrium. There's plenty of desks. I just walked right up, and the whole process took a couple of minutes, and they're all super friendly, and that was it. So yeah, if they just got a bigger bus, honestly, I think it would go a lot faster. So, but because of the circumstances that they deal with and the fact that they really do treat you right, they are going in the special L for luxury category. All right, next up, Cunard line. Okay, or actually Cunard line. So, you know what? This is an exercise in acceptable patience. Maybe it's the British in them. Every time I boarded a Cunard ship, well, all 3 times, there has been a line, a long line, but it moved. It moved at a nice, not really a brisk pace, but a nice consistent pace. The check-in process was kind of normal and regular. You know, they scan this and they check this, and you know, that's pretty much it. There really is no fuss. There's no complication to it. It's just a normal, well-moving, but there's a line, check-in process. So they're just C tier. Next up is Disney Cruise Line. Yes, everyone's favorite. So, you know what? Unfortunately, while you are surrounded by the magic of Disney, especially up in Port Canaveral and in Fort Lauderdale, Disney as a company, the Walt Disney Company, it tends to unnecessarily overcomplicate things, and that is kind of noticeable in the check-in process, but they do have plenty of cast members around, and they do very much respect the different statuses in the Castaway Club. They will send you to the right line, and once you get up to the little podium, it's usually pretty quick, and I haven't really had any problems with that, but it's a lot of I want to say bureaucracy. It's just Disney puts a lot of effort into this that you actually have to go through. But, you know, nothing beats the Disney magic. So, definitely B tier. All right. Next, Explora Journeys. I embarked Explora 1 in Panama City. They don't have a home base there, so they had this just set up in the terminal. And this was effortless. There was some waiting. It felt like it took a little bit longer than it needed to, but they very much took care of you. It was a luxury wait. They bring you into the lounge, and you just, you know, sit there in the lounge. They bring you champagne, the blue champagne. It's very comfortable. You can log into the Wi-Fi, I think, and it's just a nice place to wait. And then once either your name is called or your number called, I don't even remember, then they take you up to the podium, and the check-in process was a little bit involved. They were still new at the time, and this was back when MSC was still getting their act together, but just being in the lounge like that just puts them clearly in the L category. Next up is Holland America. All right, I only sailed Holland once, Rotterdam, and I don't really remember the process. They have their dedicated terminal here in Fort Lauderdale, and it's good that I don't remember, because that means it was pretty smooth. I remember, I think, walking up to just a little podium. They did a couple of quick things, and I don't think, was there some complication with it? I kind of half remember something that I couldn't do immediately, like maybe it was logging to the Wi-Fi. There was like some weird little thing there. But other than that, it was fairly smooth, way better than Carnival, actually. And actually, was it better than Cunard? Yes, it was. So, you know what? They're going to solidly land in the B tier. All right, next up is Margaritaville at Sea. Yes, little Margaritaville. Well, actually, not so little Margaritaville soon. Okay, it's a standard, normal check-in. There's really nothing special about it, nothing remarkable. They haven't put that much effort into it. It just kind of works. I think it can get overwhelmed if the ship is particularly full, but if you are not on a full sailing, you do get through the process pretty easily. They still have to scan this. I think they still had 2 devices last time I was there, but it's just a normal, regular check-in process. It just does what it does, and it's fairly squarely in the C tier. Okay, so next up is MSC Cruises. Okay, wow, they have come a long way. My first sailing on MSC Seashore, a long time ago, was this 2022? Absolute disaster. The embarkation process, it took an hour and a half. It was just a mess, an absolute mess. However, they got progressively better year after year, to the point where boarding here in Terminal AA at Miami, when I boarded MSC Seaside just last November or December, effortless. You walk up, you put your passport down, it reads it, they take your picture, or it checks your face, and when it goes green, that's it, you're done. You are checked in and you are good to go. You have to finish everything in the app first, right? You have to be like MSC ready. But if you were that, boom, it is smooth sailing right through the terminal, and that was it. So super effortless, definitely A tier worthy. Next up is, why aren't they S tier? Well, they have one more thing to do. Next up is Norwegian Cruise Line. Another cruise line that has made slow, very slow and steady process over the years. I think I've been sailing Norwegian in the modern cruise era, Norwegian longer than any other cruise line. And they started way back, 2015, 2016 on Norwegian Getaway. The check-in process was the slog that you would expect, but boarding Norwegian Aqua last year, a fantastic cruise. They've really got the act together. Now, I did benefit from being platinum status, so I got the much shorter line. I still think they have to go get your card, but the reason where they are is because that process was fast. I walked up to the counter, they scanned my passport. I think somebody went to grab the card, and before the lady finished doing all her busy work, they were back with my card, and I was good to go. So I didn't actually wait for them to do this. Previously, you had to wait for the card. But I remember even Norwegian Bliss in Los Angeles, which was kind of a disaster. Thank you, City of Los Angeles. It was super fast. And yeah, so they've come a long way, putting them comfortably in the, where are they? In the A tier. Okay, Princess Cruises. Okay, Princess Cruises. You know what? They are poised for being much better. Again, if you have your medallion and you have done all of the check-in items ahead of time, it can be on Princess side. They just look at your passport, you tap your medallion, and you are good to go. The reason that they don't rank higher is because the situation at Port Everglades when I boarded Sun Princess was absolute chaos. The security line took forever unnecessarily. It was just slow, and for whatever reason, by the time you pass that, though, when you walk up to the little kiosk, it was just really tap and go. In fact, I think I was the only one tapping in at the time. So, and that just indicates that Princess really isn't paying attention to that. They're letting the security vendor, get away with whatever. Because in Quebec for Caribbean Princess, it honestly was kind of a breeze. Same thing. I got like the green lane or whatever it is. I tapped, they check, and yeah, I was on board. So, just because Princess doesn't, have control of the whole process, B tier. Okay. Well, finally, yes, Royal Caribbean International, yes, the king of easy embarkation, icon of the seas, utopia of the seas, heck, even wonder of the seas, was just a smooth sailing process. I did have to go to a desk for Odyssey of the Seas, but that's because they didn't have the people walking around with tablets for whatever reason. But I remember Royal Caribbean has had it together for a very long time. Even back in 2018, when I boarded Symphony of the Seas, in Barcelona, it really was tap and go even back then. I've commented that I honestly did not stop from the time I dropped off my luggage till the time I boarded the ship. It was just so easy and effortless. So yes, clearly S tier. And finally, this is alphabetically, by the way, Virgin Voyages. Okay, I remember the process being a little more involved than it really should be. I think they had two devices, especially with the wearable that I had, the little bean. And I remember there were a lot of people crowding around, and it just did not seem to be going quickly. And I do remember the process at the little kiosk was pretty involved. Maybe it's gotten better. I don't know. For a company that started with a lot of onboard tech, especially with the handhelds for the crew and everything like that, I would have hoped it would have been a little bit better. But I do remember it just being a little more... they were doing a lot of stuff. And I did jump the line because I am blue wave status. Oh gosh, I even forgot what it is. But having sailed on like the third sailing of Scarlet Lady, I do have that forever. So that did let me skip the line. I think I got to follow the Rockstar line. So I didn't have to deal with it. That status does matter. But yeah, I just felt it was a little more involved than it should be. Maybe it's gotten better. If it has, let me know. Comments below. And you know what? I do need to sail Virgin again sometime soon. So, maybe I'll update this list once I do that. Okay, so the 15 cruise lines ranked by my experience with their embarkation process. So yes, you can expect an absolutely smooth and no hassle process with Royal Caribbean, with MSC and Norwegian. And if you have everything done ahead of time, yeah, you can have a nice easy check-in process with Princess and Holland and pretty much everybody else. So except for Carnival and Costa, because they're terrible. They really are. I'm sorry. I'm just telling it like it is. So, all right. Well, if you board as quickly as I do enjoy boarding and you are in a great mood for your cruise, I absolutely will look forward to seeing you out of the cabin.